At 6:58 a.m., wet concrete poured into my brand new pool like a gray tide, swallowing the deep end before I could even set my keys down. The pump screamed once, then died, and Karen's calm voice floated over it, clipped and clinical. "Keep going," she said from my patio, clipboard in hand, like she was narrating the weather. By the time the workers hesitated, my backyard oasis had become a curing slab, and the repair estimate was already climbing into the kind of numbers that make your stomach go quiet. I didn't panic. I don't do panic. I do procedure, and 2 months earlier I'd done everything the painfully correct way: city permits, licensed, contractor inspections logged online, final approval posted. My deed put my parcel outside any HOA boundaries recorded right there on the county maps, dry legal things that usually sit quiet and useful until they're needed. The first red flag arrived as a courtesy notice in a plain envelope, the sort of thing you toss and forget until you don't. No case number, no ordinance, no signature, just submit exterior modification for review within 48 hours. I photographed the envelope on my counter so the timestamp metadata would stick, scanned the letter, and emailed it to myself, sending the digital file into a place where it couldn't be misplaced. Evidence doesn't happen later, it happens now, and I treat it like currency. The next morning, Karen appeared at my fence line with a smile that was all ownership and zero apology. Perfect hair clipboard like armor. "I'm Karen, president of Willow Crest, HOA," she announced like a brand, like a claim staked with stilettos. "Your pool is a concern." I told her calmly I wasn't in Willow Crest. "You are now," she said, smiling. Administrative expansion, she called it. I kept my voice low and asked for the recorded document that bound my parcel to their bylaws. "You can appeal after compliance," she replied. The old trick: demand submission, then offer the mirror of fairness. So I typed an email while she watched, slow and deliberate. "Per our conversation at 3:22 p.m., you asserted my parcel is under your HOA. Please provide the recorded boundary map and membership instrument. Until then, do not enter my property. Sent contemporaneous recap evidence rung 2 because once a line is crossed, every subsequent step needs a timestamp." Pressure came for the contractor next. 2 days later, my pool builder texted someone claiming to be HOA president, emailed them, and threatened the insurer, a scary PDF with bold liability language and no city seal. I saved headers, attachment, metadata evidence rung 3. Then certified mail landed an emergency assessment for $25,000 and an intent to file a lien within 72 hours, again with no board minutes, no vote record, just authority by envelope. I photographed the package, printed the tracking history evidence rung 4. I didn't assume. I pulled reality from the county recorder, downloaded my deed, overlaid the county GIS boundary, and highlighted my lot, clear black ink outside Willow Crest. Evidence rung 5. I emailed Karen one line with the attachment: "My parcel is outside your HOA boundary. Do not contact my vendors or insurer again. Any entry will be treated as trespass." Her reply came 6 minutes later, short and arrogant: "Your map is incorrect. Our counsel will proceed." No proof attached, just confidence. Intimidation likes dawn. It's quieter, easier to slide under the radar, and Saturday morning Derek from across the street texted a photo: headlights in my driveway, reflective vests at my side gate, Karen's SUV parked like it belonged. I called 911, unknown workers entering my fenced backyard. No authorization. The dispatcher gave me a call reference number, and I repeated it out loud and noted the time evidence rung 7. When I pulled up, the workers weren't climbing my fence, they were dismantling the latch. Karen stood on my patio pavers, clipboard under her elbow, arms folded, looking like she'd been granted a script and was reading it with gusto. "Stop," I said, loud but level. "You are on private property. Shut it down." The foreman glanced at Karen before answering and held up a packet, not handing it over, the kind of theatrical gesture that implies paperwork equals power. Karen stepped forward a half step and explained, "You refuse compliance. This is nuisance abatement. A finished inspected pool is a nuisance," I repeated. "You can talk to our counsel," she said. I filmed instead. I filmed the broken latch boots on my deck, a hose aimed at my pump. Karen in frame. Then I zoomed on the truck. Company name, DOT number, license plate, Evidence rung 8. The workers started pouring gray slurry sliding into the deep end. My pump tried to cycle and choked, then quit like a betrayed heart. I spoke loud enough for my camera. I revoked permission. "You are trespassing. That's your notice." The foreman tightened and stammered, "Ma'am," before getting cut off. Karen crisp. "Continue." Her directive landed on my video like a signature you could scan and file, which is exactly what I did. 2 patrol cars showed up, and I walked straight to the officers, handing them printed permit logs and the county boundary printout asking for an incident report. Karen raised her clipboard like a badge and announced, "This property is under our jurisdiction." The officer asked for documentation. Karen flipped pages fast, nothing recorded. The second officer, crouched by the latch, took photos, looked up, and said, "This gate was tampered with." The first officer turned to the foreman and said, "Stop work right now. Stop landed in my yard like a stamp." Karen tried damage control. "We'll file liens, recover costs." I kept my voice as flat as the paperwork I'd been making for days. "Anything you file from this point forward is discoverable," I said. She blinked. I was preserving evidence. "Monday morning I'm in court," I added, and her brittle smile faltered. "Good luck." By noon, I had a police incident number, vendor identity, and video showing Karen ordering continuation after notice. I emailed Marcus Lee, my attorney, and he called back fast with an emergency TTRO preservation demand. "Notify the vendor they're exposed." Evidence rung 9. Karen escalated on Monday by emailing my mortgage company a compliance notice. I caught it because my mortgage portal showed an uploaded document. I downloaded the upload log with sender details. Evidence rung 10. I pulled one more lane, opened the city. I emailed code enforcement and permits with one question and attached the county GIS overlay. "Please confirm whether Willowcrest HOA has jurisdiction over parcel YD." 2 hours later, an official reply hit my inbox in writing, "No HOA jurisdiction is recorded for this parcel. Enforcement authority remains with the city and the property owner." I saved that email as a PDF and printed it for court. Evidence rung 11. Agency confirmation in ink. The courthouse hallway smelled like cheap coffee and expensive mistakes, and Karen arrived with 2 board members in tow, dressed for victory. "You're embarrassing the community," she said, soft and practiced. "This doesn't have to be expensive," she added, like pity was a currency. I told the judge she was the one who poured concrete into my pool, and Marcus filed exhibits like a sculptor lays down clay. Permit log with final inspection, county GIS map, police incident number, photos of the latch, the city's jurisdiction, email, and vendor paperwork we'd obtained after preservation demand. Then Marcus read the work order aloud, and the room changed temperature. The work order note said, "Pour at first light, homeowner returns around 7. HOA president on site for sign-off." Karen's face for the first time lost its practiced hue. Confidence crumples faster than paper when the light hits truth. The judge leaned over his glasses. "Miss Dawson, did you direct the timing?" Her lawyer rose and objected. The judge overruled. Under oath, she said they coordinated for efficiency. The judge repeated, "For efficiency, or to avoid the homeowner." Karen's composure collapsed under the light, instant and total. The twist wasn't a magic trick. It was a paper trail that showed intent. What looked like authority was revealed as a quiet conspiracy to skirt confrontation. "Temporary restraining order granted. Cease all enforcement actions against this parcel. No entry, no liens. Preserve all communications. Violation, contempt. Stop. Signed. Clean." The judge's pen was a finality you could feel settle in the room. Marcus served the TTRO on the HOA, their counsel, my lender, and the vendor. The HOA's attorney retracted the enforcement notice in writing to my mortgage company, admitting error, and the vendor's insurer called asking for repair estimates. The vendor's own paperwork, the same packet they'd waved on my deck, now hung them. Now came the part people always rush the money. I already had a licensed contractor's report describing contaminated lines and structural risk at the deep end, an estimate with photos labeled by date and time. Evidence rung 12. The HOA's insurer and the vendor's insurer agreed to cover removal and restoration attorney's fees, damages for trespass and loss of use, and a settlement that read like a small reform bill. HOA must adopt a policy barring board members from initiating abatement without recorded jurisdiction, and the board voted emergency meeting minutes signed to remove Karen as president and bar her from serving for a set term. Once insurers start asking for minutes, people suddenly remember how voting works. A week later, a different crew jackhammered and vacuumed the concrete out. The pump came back to life like something forgiven, and my latch was replaced with a heavy-duty lock and a tamper sensor. Cameras stayed up not out of spite, but out of prudence. Karen drove by once, slowed at the curb, didn't get out, hands tight on the wheel, learning what it feels like when procedure turns around and looks at you. When the pool was restored, I didn't throw a parade. I sat on my back steps with a coffee while my kids skipped a stone across the shallow end, and that Friday Derek and his wife brought over burgers. Nothing fancy, just a loud American grill and the sound of neighbors who finally stopped whispering. Somebody joked, "Should we invite the HOA?" And I laughed, once short and honest, because the joke landed on solid ground now. If there's a moral, and I swear to you I'm not here to preach, it's this. You don't beat a Karen by getting louder. You beat her by getting cleaner records, timelines, receipts, contemporaneous notes until her story can't breathe, until the paper trail is a noose she can't crawl out of. Power loves the quiet. It thrives in sloppy seconds and unrecorded moments. But paper and timestamps and public records are stubborn little things that can't be bluffed. So here's the part I want you to sit with justice in this story. Looked a lot like insistence on process. It wasn't dramatic vengeance. It was paperwork and patience. And the satisfying part wasn't watching Karen lose a title. It was watching a system designed to protect people actually work when you forced it to. That feeling of cooling satisfaction that's not petty. It's corrective. It's civic repair. But I'll leave you with a question that'll probably get the comments heated. Imagine your neighbor's HOA could reach across property lines with enough confidence to send crews. At dawn, is the fix always to pull them into court? Or is there a case for stronger oversight of HOAs themselves before the damage starts? Where do we draw the line between community governance and private power? Tell me what you think. Did we go too far or not far enough? And if you've got a story like this, tell it below, because there are a lot of people out there who've met a Karen and didn't know how to keep their record straight. If you've ever been bullied by a rule that wasn't real or had your property crossed without a legal stamp share, what happened? Hit. Like, if you want more of this, and drop your take on justice. Was it served, or did the system only look like it was?
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.